Hey guys, final video in the Yashica T2 saga, and in this video I'm going to tell you what I feel about this camera now that I've had a chance to use this camera quite a bit, and I'm going to show you some photos. So briefly, this camera is a point and shoot plastic camera. It's got a 3.5 lens, f3.5 lens with a 35mm focal length. It's a Carl Zeiss Tezar lens, so it's known for actually quite good quality. Also, it's a glass lens, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, so as I said before, it's auto everything. It's auto exposure, auto focus, auto flash, auto lens cover, auto rewind, auto wind. Man, the only thing is it doesn't auto develop the film for you. So basically, this camera, in short, is foolproof. Anyone can use it. You almost don't need any knowledge or experience, because it takes actually quite modern batteries, and as long as the batteries are fresh, the exposure is going to be spot on. Sometimes the focus might miss, but all in all, you're going to get fantastic pictures, for an average camera. Now, I'm going to go to the good parts of this camera first. It's lightweight, it's super light, and it's easy to suspend around the neck and just have it hanging there basically all day. So if you're using this for street photography, which is quite nice at 35mm focal length, you're going to enjoy carrying these around. And it's kind of unobtrusive, stealth, if you like. It's mostly black. It's got low profile. Also, I like the fact that it uses super modern batteries, and you can just buy those anywhere you go, in the drugstore, supermarket, so you're never going to be out of battery. Another cool feature that I like about this camera is the lens cover. That is another funny thing that took me a while to figure out when I first got this camera, when I had no experience with it, was how do I open the lens cover? But what that does is when you press the shutter button, it auto opens along with the shutter. So that's pretty handy. It helps protect the lens from scratches and dust and all sorts of things. And you don't have to worry about leaving the lens cap on while you're taking pictures, like some film cameras. Now, moving on to the bad, or the average. This is not going to be the same for everyone. Some people are going to think this is a positive, but the auto everything thing for me is, I don't know, I don't enjoy that so much. If you're in a party, if you're in, I don't know, in a holiday situation, you're on the beach or whatever, or you don't know much about exposure settings, then fine. But this thing just basically takes a picture, and I have no idea what settings it's picked. I can't create in terms of shutter speed variation. I can't deliberately blur something or control the depth of field. With this camera, it just picks whatever it wants. The auto flash function also is a little annoying, but it's something that could be overridden, but you have to remember to override it, otherwise you're just going to get a huge flash in someone's face when you might not be expecting to. It's got two buttons on the top where you can override. One situation where the camera would want to use flash, of course, is if there's low light. You can press the no flash button and force it not to use light, and either underexpose or do a kind of long exposure. Or in daytime, when the camera definitely does not want to use a flash in the sun, but you might want to use the flash as a filler, for instance, if the person is backlit, you can press the daylight flash button, and that would flash no matter what the settings are. Another one is the way that you force the rewind on this. If you haven't seen the videos that I made previously about the Yashica T2, please go and see them. You see what I mean. It put us in quite a bit of trouble. I mean, now that I know it's there, it's not that much of a big deal, but if you need to use it, it's still kind of an inconvenience. You have to find some kind of narrow or sharp object to press the rewind thing with. You can say that kind of protects the camera from accidentally rewinding your film when it's not ready, but I don't know, I just don't like it. Now, in terms of the value and the quality of this camera, the body of the camera itself is quite cheap plastic, right? So it's nothing that's going to survive the test of time. I know that by definition, the fact that a lot of them are actually around right now means that they have survived. So they're not completely flimsy, but they are plastic. So they're not very rugged. They will break easily if they fall off your hands, but it's because people have taken good care of them, you know. Yashica is usually known for making good lenses, and this is a Carl Zeiss Tezar lens. It's no exception. I would say though that it's not quite as good a lens as you find in the T4 or I would say the Yashica Electro 35 series. I've never used the Yashica T4, but I've seen pictures that have been taken by people that have used them, and I can tell that the pictures are just better than what I got from here. Now, that's not just me. I've looked at other pictures that other people have taken with the T2, and the lens is not quite as good, I don't think, as the lens in the T4. That's kind of just my opinion about it. Also, I think this camera is a little overrated, actually. It's a good camera, don't get me wrong, but because it's got such a huge cult following, it's been sort of over elevated past what it actually is. In my opinion, for instance, I think the Olympus AF10 Super is actually a better camera than the Yashica T2. And if you look on eBay, the AF10 Super is a fraction of the cost of a T2. Also, I think some of the Canons are not only better cameras, they're actually better looking cameras. Some of the sure shot cameras from Canon are absolutely stunning, but because they don't have the cult following, no one really knows about them, which is kind of good for those people that do know about them, which means they're not very expensive. I'm not saying it's a bad camera, I'm saying it's a good camera, okay, just to be clear. But I think, you know, because of the likes of Terry Richardson and other photographers that have sort of elevated the whole Yashica T series into the old sort of cult camera zone, I think the Yashica T2 has benefited a little bit from that sort of celebrity. So even though Terry Richardson isn't using the T2, it's, you know, an ancestor of the Yashica T4. So by association, this camera has gained an incredible following. But man, it's not that good. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Here are the pictures, and I'll see you next time.